Chapter 40 of the Garuda Purana, second Kanda.
This is Purana
Talk. Launch right in here. On accidental death. Sure, it was an accident. Garuda said, O Lord, I wish to hear this explained. Some Brahmins have tragic deaths. How is the passage in regard to those? What is their place? What is their goal? What are the rules of observance in regard to them? Please tell me the after effects of such untimely natural deaths. The Lord said, O Garuda, I shall tell you in detail about their passage, rules of observance, and place. It is a great secret, the rite in case of abnormal death. There are people who are dead by fasts, killed by fanged animals, dead by strangulation, who are slayers of preceptors killed by wolves, who die of arson or imprecations of Brahmins, who die of cholera, who commit suicide, who fall from a peak and die, who hang themselves to death, who are drowned in tank, river, or ocean. Listen to their plight. Now,
So he's describing
untimely, unnatural deaths, bad deaths.
Bad deaths.
On accidental death. It's okay. These go to hell. Those who were killed by the mlechas and other infidels, who were defiled by dogs, jackals, etc., who were not cremated, who are full of germs, who die of leaping or great ailments or contact with foul women or an attack by a low-born person, who die of water, of serpent bite, who are struck by lightning, killed by fanged beasts, who die of falling from trees, who are defiled by women in menses and impurities, who are shudras, washermen, and others who are likely to fall into hell by committing sin or escaping it become ghosts. For such persons, there is no rite of cremation, no water libation, no rite of obsequy, and no observance of impurity. For these people, O Garuda, the rite of Narayana Bali should be performed. Now, for the benefit of the entire world, I shall narrate the procedure of this rite that dispels the fear of sins.
So he tells the wrongful death and sort of then points out, okay, this will cause them to become a ghost.
Bad death.
And then gives a remedy
and
almost
to go
immediately,
to hell.
Right?
But I happen to have right here in my bag of tricks
the remedy,
the Narayana Bali.
And so the Narayana Bali is where here?
Well, I assume it begins somewhere after 13.
Okay.
But it's got more to say first. 13. For a Brahmin, the rite should be pardon me, I'm going to start over. For a Brahmin, the rite should be performed within 6 months. For a Kshatriya, within 3 months. For a Vaishya, within a month and a half. And for a Shudra, immediately. 14. The Narayana Bali should be performed through Brahmins in Ganga, Yamuna, Naimisha, and Pushkara. These are 4 holy places. In a tank full of water, in an eddy of pure water, in a cowshed, in a house, or in a temple in front of Krishna's image. These are all options. You can do it either at the river Ganga, at the river Yamuna, in the Naimisha forests, in the holy town of Pushkar, or in a tank full of water, or an eddy of pure water, or a cowshed, or a house, or a temple in front of Krishna's image. That's nice. Lots of options. Water libations should be performed with mantras from the Vedas and the Puranas. With the articles of worship, Lord Vishnu should be propitiated. Vishnu Krishna, for those of you unfamiliar. One could say Krishna is an avatar of Vishnu. If you're deep in the Krishna cult, it's all about Krishna, but Vishnu is the sort of the primal. I don't know, what would you say? He's the more fundamental manifestation of that.
Yeah,
deity.
Think of him as the abstract principle that from which arises Brahma, the awareness of the directions, as well as the rest of the universe, because he's sort of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But and Krishna is just a human born God at a specific period. The glory poem being the Bhagavad Gita, probably.
Yeah, well, there are lots.
But he shows up in lots of other places. But,
yeah.
But that sort of tells the high point or whatever.
Okay, rites accompanied by reciting the Purusha Shukta and Vishnu mantras should be performed. Facing the south, the dead should be identified with Lord Vishnu. The mantra runs thus.
Where are we?
18. May the Lord Pundarikaksha, who has no beginning, no end, who bears on his person a conch, a discus, and a mace, confer salvation to the dead. So here's a case in which they actually just translated a mantra, which suggests, A, that it is translatable, because a lot of mantras are just strings of sacred syllables. Right. So, and they're addressing Vishnu as Pundarikaksha, one of his many names, who has no beginning or end. Okay, may he confer salvation to the dead. After offering water libation, the householder who is not affected by passion and hatred, who is pure, restrained in senses, devoted to virtue and benevolence, shall observe silence along with his kinsman, O Garuda. Then he shall perform 11 shraddhas with full concentration, observing all rules. He should make various gifts of water, grain, wheat, triyangu, cooked rice soaked in ghee, silver coin, umbrella, turban, cloth, vegetables, milk, honey, and sandals. Gifts should be made to all without depriving anyone of the line of those assembled. The rice balls placed on the ground should be accompanied by scents, flowers, and grains. Gifts made to Brahmins should be in accordance with the Vedic and Shastric injunctions. Water libation should be offered separately through a conch or a copper vessel. The performer of rites should hold breath and kneel on the ground. He should first give the arghya and then perform ekodishta. The first rice ball should be offered with the mantras apodaivi, madhumati, and the second with the mantra upayamagrihitosi. Upayamagrihitosi.
So 27 is the first rice ball.
The first rice ball should be offered with the mantras, and it lists the mantras, and then these are footnoted, and so Apo Daivi is from VS, Vishnu Shukta.
Without remembering,
not sure. It could be Vishnu.
All right. And 28 is the second one.
No. They're all in
the
27.
Second one's still in 27.
Madhumati is from the Rig Veda, book 457.3, and the Upayama Grihitosi. It's a difficult one, but that's also from VS. Vishnu something, maybe? 28. The third rice ball is given. Where's the second rice ball? I see. The first rice ball should be offered with the mantras Apadevi Madhumati, and the second with the mantra Upayama Grihitoshi. The third ball is given with the mantra Yena Pavaka Chakshasa, which is from the Rig Veda 156. The fourth rice ball with the mantra Ye Devasaha, which is also from the Rig Veda, Book 4, Chapter 35, Verse 8. And the fifth with the mantra Samudram Gacha, and that's again from VS 621. 29. The mantra Agnir Jyotihi is for the sixth. That's also from VS 39. Hiranyagarbha for the seventh. That's from VS 39. No, wait. Isn't that what I said for the last one? Oh, no, this is actually from VS 13.4. And that goes with the seventh rice ball. Yamaya for the eighth, and Yamaya is from VS 37.11, and Yajagrat for the ninth, and that's from VS 34.1. The mantra Yaha Bhalinihi is for the 10th, and that is in the Rig Veda 10.97.15, and Bhadram Karnebihi for the 11th, also from the Rig Veda 189.8. Thus all the rice balls should be offered. After this, he shall perform the Shraddha for 11 deities on the next day. 5 Brahmins should be invited and arghya given to them. They should be learned and of good conduct, most excellent to their family, free from physical decrepitude, and noble. Never should they be of the condemnable type.
I found this unclear. I just want to ask you if you know. So you've finished your 11 rice balls with the appropriate mantras. Is it saying you've done them all now?
Yeah. After this, you go on and perform the Shraddha for 11 deities on the next day.
Right, and that's 30.
That concludes it.
You're at.
Yeah, it's the end of verse 30. And then 5 Brahmins should be invited and treated to a good time. They got to be good Brahmins, not the other kind. You know who they are, the condemnable type.
Okay. I just wanted to catch that because it was changing what was happening.
Okay. 32. The image of Vishnu should be made of gold, that of Rudra of copper, that of Brahma of silver, and that of Yama of iron, Lord of Death. The effigy of the dead should be made of lead or darba grass. Nyasa of Samavedan should be conducted with the mantra Yamaya Twa. Yamaya Twa. Lord Govinda should be placed, it doesn't tell me where that comes from. Lord Govinda should be placed in the west with the mantra, semicolon, Agna Ahyahi. Rig Veda 616.10. Really? I wonder if it's 616.10. Prajapati in the east with the mantra Agnim Ile. Rig Veda 111.
Which is a solar number.
It's like book 1,
if you
chapter
have
1,
a
verse 1.
6x6 square and you've arranged the numbers so that they're symmetrical. So no matter what, whether you go across a line or up and down or diagonally, it'll add up to 111. And that's why it's significant.
That's one reason.
Well, yes. In Western occultism.
I was going to point out that it is also the number of Ali. Yes. For the Shia Muslims. I encountered this when living in Lucknow.
And they have a little square with the 111 in it, 1 in each square. Like, so it's a 3x3.
So it really adds up to 3 in all directions, but not very mystically.
Yeah.
It's like, duh.
Anyway, just
as magic squares go, it always seemed to me that what was magic about them was like you have all the numbers 1 through 9, and it would add up to 15 in all directions, right?
Right. And if you do that for a 6x6, that's the one we're talking about. Anyway,
Iron.
I was just capturing
Iron
what you're supposed to make the different gods out of.
Yama's iron, and then the effigy of the dead should be made of lead or darba grass. That's 33. See, they did all the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just ignore them.
No, but I have to turn the page. There's no more room there.
All right. It's just...
See? Ran out of room.
Look at that. All right. I think we've got that sorted out. The effigy of the dead should be made of lead or darba grass. Nyasa of Samaveden should be conducted with the mantra. Hey, we've already read all this. All the mantra Yamayatva. Lord Govinda should be placed in the west with the mantra Agna Ayahi. Prajapati in the east with the mantra Agne Ile. Yama in the south with the mantra Ishetva. Rig Veda 1:1:22. And in the middle, a mystic diagram should be drawn in the ground where the body of darba grass is placed. In the 5 vessels containing 5 gems, there be invoked Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Yama, and the dead person, which is what they just went through, the elements. So it will, and it says containing 5 gems. Well, we've done 5 metals now for them, so, but it's not going to tell us what the gems are. The cloth, the sacred thread, and the coins should be separated for each deity. The mantras too are separate for each deity. 5 shraddhas are performed separately for the deities with due observance of rules, and water is poured over the pindas separately. Water and jinjali seeds shall be taken in the conch or a copper vessel, or if it is not available, in an earthen vessel along with the articles of worship. O lords of birds, the following O Lord of birds, the following articles should be gifted to a pious Brahmin: seat, an asana; sandal, umbrella; coins, water pot, vessel; foodstuffs, and grains, thus constituting the 8 padas, as well as a copper vessel with jinjali seeds along with gold and compatible dakshinas. Fields with grain plants already grown should be gifted to a Rigvedan, a milk cow to a Yajurvedan, a new cloth to a Samavedan with Lord Shiva in view, and similarly jinjali seeds and iron with Yama in view. The sacrificial fee should be paid to the officiating priests.
Is that the end?
An effigy should be made with the medicinal herbs, O Kashyapa. Palasha leaves and bunches should be split into several pieces. The hide of a black deer should be spread, and the effigy of kush grass placed over it. 360 blades of kusha grass representing the number of bones in the body should be used. Number of bones in the body, 360 in Indian popular thought of the era, Puranic era.
So a circle.
Yeah,
so
that's
how many degrees in the circle.
Yes. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if there's a list somewhere.
I'm sure there is. Okay.
The blades of kusha grass should be tied well to constitute the different limbs. 40 blades of kusha grass at the head, 10 at the neck. It's going to tell us 20 in the region of the heart, 20 in the belly, 100 in the thighs, 20 at the hips, 4 for the penis, 6 for the testicles, 10 for the toes. This is the procedure to represent the bones. A coconut placed at the head, a silver piece in the palate, 5 gems in the mouth, and a plantain fruit in the tongue. Sands represent the entrails. Saffron is placed at the nose. Clay represents the fat and the cow's urine. Sulfur represents the dhatus, which are the principal constituents of the body. things like blood, bones, plasma. There's a list. Haritala, which it describes as yellow orpiment, or yellow ochre.
Yeah, it's basically a yellow color.
Yellow colored mineral, probably. Manashila, which it says is red arsenic, and fried barley flour represent flesh, and honey represents the blood. A clump of twigs and leaves represents the matted hair, hide of deer represents the skin, mercury represents semen, and brass pieces the feces. Manashila is scattered over the body. That's the red arsenic, as it says. I think what they're talking about,
red ochre, probably.
Well, it's this bright red powder that's used like in the part of the hair and stuff like that.
Oh, cinnabar?
Is it? Is that mercury oxide?
That's mercury oxide, yeah. And that's very poisonous. It's possible. We're using it.
Well, the mercury that represents the semen is more like, the parasalingam, things like
stabilized
that.
Mercury.
Stabilized mercury was often. That's why it's considered very important. It's like the solidified semen of Lord Shiva in the form of a lingam. Like, who doesn't want to own one of those?
Lots of people.
I have one.
It turns out we've got one for sale still. That's
really?
In the case at work.
Oh. Well, contact us privately.
Call our 800 number.
Yeah, good luck with that. All right. Yeah, red arsenic. I don't know what it is. It might. Is it cinnabar that has arsenic?
No.
That's mercury oxide.
Mercury oxide is
all right,
cinnabar.
Never mind. I'm blathering. Manashila is scattered over the body. Gingelly cakes on the joints, palm leaves on the ears, and 2 gunjas on the nipples. They're kind of berry. Lotus petals are placed on the nose and the umbilical region. Brinjal on the testicles. The Indian eggplant is a nice little testicular shape. And red garlic on the penis. Woo. Ghee should be applied over the navel. Lock, representing the loincloth, like tree pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Pearls are placed at the breast and saffron over the head. Camphor, by which it means camphor. Incense, aguru, which is aloes wood. Garlands are used to decorate the effigy. It is clothed with silken cloth. A gold piece is placed over the chest. Riddhi and Vriddhi, personifying success and prosperity, represent the arms. Subtext, Riddhi and Vriddhi are the 2 wives of Ganesh. 2 chowdhury pieces, the eyes. Red lead is applied to the corners of the eyes. Now, lead, I know, was used in the part of the hair.
Yeah, and red lead is used in
because they're getting lead poisoning.
When you're making leaded windows and things like that, it's part of the sealing process.
So red lead is applied to the corners of the eyes. Betel leaves are offered to the mouth. Thus, the worship of the dead is performed with different medicinal herbs, even though only some of those could justifiably be called medicinal herbs. Some of them could. So, a category that it's considering.
Medicine's a big, wide definition at this point, too.
Do rites performed in fire and sacrificial vessels are kept around. The dead body is sanctified by the mantras Shanno Devi, Rig Veda 194, Punantu Ma, VS 1937, Imame Varuna, Rig Veda 125:19, and by the water from the Shalagrama stone. Poured over a Shalagrama stone.
So that's we decided that was the ammonite crystal.
A good milch cow. Is it pronounced milk? Milch. It's archaic in any case.
Yeah, it would be milk.
A good milk cow in a vessel full of Jingeli seeds is gifted with Vishnu in view. Jingeli seeds, iron, gold, cotton, salt, cow. Each of these is considered to be pious. It actually says each of them. Then, Vaitarani, decorated with ornaments, should be given accompanied by a shraddha. Footnote here, by Vaitarani, a cow is meant, not the river. Don't decorate a river with the ornaments and give it away. Accompanied by a shraddha. The rites for the release of the ghost should be performed with Vishnu in view. The preta is mystically discharged. The corpse or the effigy is cremated while meditating upon Vishnu. On the cremation of effigy, 3 days impurity is observed. Otherwise, impurity lasts for 10 days, while a rice ball is offered on each of the 10 days. It's the other way of doing it, I guess. All other rites are performed for a year, thereby the dead man attains salvation.
Well, very interesting. I want to go back to when it was going through the directions. It would be right around 30, 31. And I want to see if we can capture what they say goes in what place.
Well,
it started with somebody right there, I think, Lord Govinda.
Should be placed in the west.
So west, Govinda.
Prajapati in the east.
East. Prajapati.
Ooh, yes. And the middle A is long, right after the Ja.
Okay, gotcha.
Prajapati. Lord of Praja. He's like propagator. He's in the east. Prajapati in the east.
Right.
Yama is in the south, and Yama is the lord of this other direction among the Dikpals in that tradition.
All right.
And in the middle, a mystic diagram should be drawn. It says.
Yeah, well, that's where they always say to put the lotus in the ritual.
Yeah.
They don't mention north.
Yeah, okay, so, but...
They go west, east, south, north. Or, I mean, west, east, south, center.
Yeah, you're right. West, east, south, center. And there's also, should be 5 being represented here. So something or someone is missing, and that should be a clue. Well, except that it says the 5 vessels should be invoked with Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Yama, and the dead person. Here we've got Govinda, Prajapati, Yama.
And the dead person would be Brahma in the middle, right?
Yeah, well, that's the Brahma Randra, that's the
Brahma center is going to be Brahma, so.
Well,
isn't it?
Not necessarily in this case. I mean, the center can be whatever's being invoked in the lotus. It's the mystic diagram, and I think it's it's where the body would be symbolically located, right? Where they build the body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is kind of interesting to me. So it's where does it lay that out? 34.
Which?
where you're going through the directions. I just
30,
want to
34 and 35. Best, stanzas 34, 35. Verse. Chapter 40. Chapter and verse. Okay.
Okay.
Do we?
That was helpful.
You can go now.
The effigy
You can't.
instructions
Yes.
were interesting too, where it was associating specific objects with specific parts of the body, and then you do a ritual with this body you've built.
You
and
offer
you're
it.
visualizing
You offer it
different
beetle at the
things
very
different-
after you build it. You put beetle in its mouth. I thought it was
Right.
interesting.
Oh yeah, you
And
feed
then
it.
That was
you wrap
that was
it
the
up.
last thing, and then the worship is performed with different medicinal herbs.
Right. And then when after it sort of gets through that, then it gives you an overview of the ritual just before you leave. This last bit was sort of giving alternative things you might do instead of certain things, but it was also sort of saying, this is what the overall ritual is.
Yeah, it says, after the cremation of the effigy, you've got 3 days in purity.
Right.
Or if you want, you can do the 10-day thing with the rice ball offering each of the 10 days.
So it's laying out alternative ways of doing this.
Very typical of these Puranas, and it's kind of, one of their strengths in a way, I think, is that they recognize that there's more than one way of doing things, and they're not wrong.
Right. Well, the authority of Vishnu in this case is telling us that there are alternatives.
Yeah. Can't argue there.
Better not.
All right. Class dismissed.
Bye.